Walk in the street in any city in Canada or in Europe, you have churches, you have temples, and this is neutral. This is a neutral public sphere. And the way the people are dressed is neutral. Why? Because it's normal. Why is it normal? Because it's the dominant culture. We were used to it. So what is dominant is normal, and what is normal becomes neutral. And then you have one mask, two masks, three masks, one headscarf, two headscarves, a new visibility. And now, what is challenging is our understanding of neutrality. And it's as if, I'm coming from a country in Switzerland, the first party, the far-right party, UDC, asking for the mosque and the building of the minarets to be banned because it's undermining the neutrality of the public sphere. Is the first party. So listen to this. They are telling us our public sphere, the landscape was neutral with the churches, the synagogues and the temples. Now we have mosques and it's no longer neutral. So the meaning of neutrality is important, but be careful. Because it's going very far. In France, for example, when you have and the States was so much involved in this that 96% of the French parliamentarians voted the law against the headscarves in school. Saying what? When you come into class and you wear the headscarf, you are undermining the neutrality of the public sphere within the class. So this is undermining the neutrality of school. So you have to remove it. So when you come with Coca-Cola, it's neutral. When you come with a headscarf, it's a problem. Why? Because there is a neutrality which is a normalization, something which is normal for the majority, or accepted by the majority, and something which is completely new. So this was a law, March 2004, and the states was coming with a kind of this is against the neutrality of the public sphere. But now we also had in Belgium another discussion, which is okay, that's fine. You come as a student and you can wear the headscarf because in fact the problem is not you. The problem is the teacher. So a teacher cannot come with a headscarf because she is representing the state. So with a headscarf, the state is not neutrally represented. So we ban this. But for the students, you come. So in France, a student is undermining the neutrality. In Belgium, no, but the teacher. And you go now in the UK. And the UK say, no. When you are a student, you can wear the headscarf because it's not against the neutrality. When you are a teacher, you can wear the headscarf because it's not against neutrality. What should be neutral is what you teach. It's in fact like here. What you are, as a teacher, you are not banned if you wear the headscarf or the students. What should be neutral is the substance of what you teach. This is the neutrality. So look at this. At one point, and be careful, because sometimes when I talk to people in Canada, they look at the French and say, "What is this crazy?" But do you think that 96% of the parliamentarians are crazy in France? Or is it the atmosphere which is so heavy that is pushing all the class, all the politicians to say yes to something which from outside say, how could it be possible? Because you go in Belgium, or you go in Switzerland, and you go in other countries, they don't understand why it was bad. So we have to understand that sometimes the state or the political pressure or the atmosphere within the country can undermine something which for me it's against human rights. Because as a Muslim I would say it's against Islam to impose into a woman to wear the headscarf. I would be against it. No one should impose onto a woman to wear the headscarf. But it's against human rights to impose on to her to take it up. It should be a free choice. So if this is the position, you look at one country and it's so heavy that at the level of the whole country, this would be a shift, and where you can feel that there is something which is against human rights, against the rights of a young girl to wear the headscarf. So this is something which is here, a whole discussion about how states sometimes can play on neutrality, on definitions, on political decisions. So I still have 5 minutes, okay? Very quickly. So I think here that with all this, we understand in which way our human rights, if we are not aware of the climate, the atmosphere, populism, polarization, politics of fears, we are driven by forces in our countries that can go as far as to undermine the very meaning of implementing human rights and promoting equal rights and equal dignity. Not only this, that sometimes you will find that our perception of the others is so deep in our mindset that when the other are asking the same as us, it's as if they were asking specific rights. In fact, they are asking exactly the same. Let me give you 2 examples, and one is coming from Ontario. When it comes to Sharia court, this kind of, I was against it. I said, the Muslims don't need it. They just abide by the common law, it's okay. But in fact, if you go and listen to what the judge was saying, is that the Muslims were just saying exactly the same rights as the other religions, and the Jewish had it already. So it was not a new law. It was something which was already there. But it's as if by asking the same rights, because you are perceived as the other, the same rights became specific rights. So we removed them from all. Dr. William, the Archbishop of Canterbury, was saying something which was, he was just saying, we have to acknowledge the fact that Muslims are here, and he was not saying what was said about him afterward. It is someone who studied Sharia and studied the law of the country. He knew exactly what he was talking about. He was just saying we have to acknowledge the fact that, for example, arbitrary counsel could be done for Muslims when they within the law, and it's already there. He was saying things that are already there for the Jewish community, even the Muslims. We want to change the British law to accommodate who? Them, the others. While they are British citizens, and within the limits of the law, you can find, anything which is when both sides agree, the man and the woman, you can go for it. It's within the law. It's not against the British law. It's not parallel to the system. It's within the system. The British system is accepting this kind of agreement. Thank you. I'm finishing. So, I think here that it's very important to listen to this, because we were talking about what? Equal rights. And it's as if when you are perceived as the other, it's another right that you are asking, other, privileges. And this is something which is really important for us to understand. So the overall climate, atmosphere, which is sometimes used by states to undermine the very implementation of equal rights and protecting human rights. So my conclusion here is for us to be able to understand that this is where we are. We have together to go for something which is quite clear. We are in a multicultural society, and this is a fact. But we have to be consistent with our values and to build together something which is, how do we implement or protect these rights? By having a very critical discussion on our values. And this is where it's important to have this discussion. Why? Because if we don't have this discussion, there is a great deal of mistrust. And I met so many fellow citizens, and European citizens, Canadian citizens, Americans coming from the States saying, you are not quite clear on what you are saying. You speak about here, you don't want to speak about there. So when you speak about equal rights here, it means equal rights there. Equal dignity, equal dignity, equal dignity. This is something which is universal. These are principles.